they're usually harder than this. This looks different, I don't know. But this is a cow's eye. And the reason we use cow's eyes is because there's so many of them out there, because, you know, people eat cows, but they don't eat the eyes, right? So they're very cheap, and they're also, like, bigger than the human eye, but very similar, so we can see the parts easily. Alright. So the first part is the fat, which is all around the eye, as you can see. And why do you guys think we have fat around the eye? So much of it.
Lubricant.
Protection?
Yeah, protection. So it protects our eyeball from being bruised by the skull, because you guys like move around a lot, right? So if we had no fat there, it could get easily damaged or bruised. So this is what the fat looks like. And then the next part is this part around here. It's kind of brownish. It's muscle. So a cow's eye has muscles that helps it move in 4 directions, up, down, left, and right. But humans, we're different. We can actually move our eyes in 6 directions. Do you guys know what the additional 2 directions are?
Crossways?
It's up, down, left, right, and then something else you can do with your eyes.
Roll it around?
So we can also roll our eyes around. Cows can't. They can't roll their eyes.
What's the next? What's the 6th one?
Rolling.
Yeah. Clockwise.
Roll
and
to
then
the right,
counterclockwise.
roll to the left.
So then we start cutting into the eye. And the first layer we talk about is out here. It's the first protective layer of the eye. Let me put this in. And it's called the cornea. So the cornea focuses most of the light that goes into the eye. And then the lens is the part that focuses the rest. And because it's the first protective layer of the eye, it needs to be very strong, right? Ooh, ew. So it's actually very hard. It's made up of something called interlocking fibers. And if you put your hands like that, that's how they work. And if you try to pull apart, it's really hard. Okay. Just cut that out. You can actually hear how strong it is. Like if you cut into it, which I will show you. Yeah. So I want you guys to listen. Very.
Oh, yeah.
Hear that?
Yeah.
And even though I made a bunch of cuts into it, it's still really hard for me to break it apart. I can't even break it. But the next part came attached is this right here. Have you guys ever heard of the iris?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the iris.
The
It's
one
a
that gives
colored.
color.
It's a colored portion of your eye, and the hole in the middle is called the pupil. So the iris, what it does, is it controls
the amount of light.
that goes into your eye. That's right. So if
Aperture.
it's really bright outside, does the hole get bigger?
Yeah, smaller.
Smaller, and then if it's really dark, it makes the hole bigger by contracting. And what gives your eye its color is something called melanin. So if you have more melanin, darker, you can have a darker color.
the green eyes?
Green eyes have less. That's a difference that we have with cows too.
Parehas sa inyong kuwan, melanin.
Because what colors of eyes have you seen in humans? You said green.
Brown, green.
Yeah, cows can only have dark brown eyes like this. And this is also an involuntary muscle, which means you can't consciously control it. Okay, so the next part is this stuff that's coming out right here.
The lens.
Synovial fluid.
Yes, that's a vitreous humor.
Yeah.
So, vitreous humor is there to keep the eye's round shape. So now that I took it out, it's easier for me to deform it. And another thing that it does is it keeps the retina in place. The retina is a thin film in the back of the eye. And
Isn't it bend the light as well? Bend the light to focus the eye, the image on the retina.
I'm pretty sure it's the lens and the cornea. Those are the ones that do the focusing.
All right.
But I'm not sure, maybe.
Oh, you're right.
It's where the...
You're right.
Okay. So this is a lens, like I mentioned before. It's a biconvex shape, which means that it's rounded on both sides. And something really interesting that happens to light when it passes through the lens is that it gets inverted. And that's because light travels in the straight path through the thickest part of an object. So if you look at the shape of this, it looks like that. Where is it thicker? In the
In the
top?
center.
Yeah, it's thicker in the center. So if you're looking at like this, right? The top of this will travel in a straight path toward the center and up in the bottom, and then same thing for everything else. But your brain inverts the image again, so you don't see like everything upside down. And then we can also cut the peel out these layers of the lens. It's composed of many, many layers, and they start forming when you're born until you hit puberty, which is around 13 years old.
And what is it made of?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, but sometimes the layers can get fogged up, and it's called cataracts, if you guys know.
Okay.
And it eventually leads to blindness. So what doctors have to do is they can't target like a specific layer, right? So they have to destroy the whole lens and then replace it with an artificial lens. And yeah, this is a lens. Okay, and the next part we talk about, I mentioned before, is called the retina. And the retina is very important because it turns the image from light form into electrical impulses so that your brain can read it. Yeah. And it goes from your retina to your optic nerve, which is a nerve in the back of the eye. It's under all the fat, but where is it? But that connects to your brain, and then the image is sent to your brain. And there are light-sensitive cells in your retina. There are cone cells and rod cells. Cone cells help you detect color and detail. Rod cells help you see shades of gray and motion. But cows, they actually have inactive red cone cells. So if you guys have ever seen like a bullfight, it's not the color red that makes the bull mad. It's just the waving of the flag.
It's crazy, no?
Yeah,
That is so
exactly. They don't recognize that red color. That's right. It's a movement. Humans, we have active cones and rods, and in the spot where the retina connects to the optic nerve, which is like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. There's a little bit of retina still on there.
Okay, yes.
In that spot right
The
there,
brown one.
there are no cone cells or rod cells.
The blind spot?
Yeah, that's the blind spot. So like light is always landing on that spot, but since you don't have cone cells and rod cells to detect it, you can't see anything there, and that's why it's called the blind spot. So if you look around, are there any spots where you don't see anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
If it's too
Because you shouldn't be able to see the blind spot because you have two different eyes. The blind spots are in two different spots, so they fill each other in. What if you close one eye and look around?
No.
You can see everything,
Yeah,
right?
you can still see.
just email.
That's because your brain, it fills in the spot with what's around it. So if you look at this, it's going to be like, oh, it's white, so it fills it in with white. But we have an exhibit here that's pretty cool where you can actually see something disappear when it lands on your blind spot. It's called the blind spot if you guys want to check it out.
Where's
But
that?
it's near the illusions.
this one?
There's like a whole bunch of eye exhibits.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a triangle one. So now, there's another layer back here. If you look, it's like a lot of different colors, and it's very shiny.
Like a shell, like the color of...
Yeah. And this is called the tapetum. It's found in nocturnal animals. So what it does, what do shiny things do to light? Yeah, they reflect light. So nocturnal animals come out in the nighttime, right? So they need all the light they can get. And they have a tapetum which reflects the light back to the lens, so you get like more light. And the reason that a cow has a tapetum,
Because they can see the beam.
yeah, they can because they used to be nocturnal until humans domesticated them.
Oh.
So that they could come out and we come out and sleep and we sleep. And
So you think they're now non-functional? as a result of evolution?
I think it's still
Still?
Yeah, because they can see even
it's
if it's
still
dark.
there. Yeah, if you've
They
ever
can see
taken
even
a
if it's really
picture.
dark.
Yeah, even if you've ever taken a picture of a dog, as anyone with flash,
Yeah.
you see the torpedo reflect the light
So
too.
this is the one.
This is the one, that's right. And another thing that I didn't mention was the liquid that came out in the beginning. It's very similar to the jelly. It's called aqueous humor, and it's filtered in. I mean, it's poured into your eye and drained out every 4 to 6 hours. But sometimes it's drained in faster than it can be drained out, and it causes a lot of pressure in the eye.
That's why,
Yeah,
yeah.
glaucoma. So what doctors have to do is they actually make a little cut in your iris, and they drain out the excess fluid, and that's how they deal with that. It's called an iridectomy. And there are also ciliary muscles around the inside, and what they do is they control the shape of the lens. So they deform it and they make it go back to its original shape, so you can focus things that are closer or further away from you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, when the weather is so dry, it looks like the eyes also get dry. So we put something to just moisten it. What is that? That's a superficial moistener or something?
What?
Because
Dry eyes?
sometimes I feel
Eye
that.
drops, yeah, right.
Yeah, but what in
Why
the
do they
eye?
get dry?
Yeah.
When it's humid out?
What structure in the eye supplies the fluids
Oh,
on
you
the
mean like
surface?
the tear duct? That's a good question.
Well, not actually tears, but
I
I can see very well when my eyes are too dry.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll look it up just in case anyone else ever asks me. But just
And
anyone else?
with regards to the diffuse humor, that's a liquid, you said?
It's not a liquid.
It's like a gel?
Yeah, it's kind of like Jello.
Is it not
It's
also water? That's why
it's
aqueous.
yeah, it's made up of water and protein. So is the aqueous humor. They're both very similar.
It's much better than
They're similar to egg
Sorry?
white.
I got a copy of your
Yeah.
Egg white before you cook the egg.